There is no delay in the workings of divine law. The river of abundance flows ceaselessly, and it flows to you the moment you declare it. To speak the word of prosperity is to strike the match that lights the flame, and the universe, ever attentive, rushes to fulfill it. Riches are not a distant promise, not something earned in toil and struggle, but the natural inheritance of one who knows the power of thought and word. The instant you align your mind with the truth of plenty, the instant you cast out the illusion of lack, the riches of heaven and earth stand revealed. The world has taught many that wealth comes slowly, through years of strain, through bargains and battles. Yet the Spirit whispers otherwise. It is already done. To the soul attuned, there is no waiting. Supply is at hand, here now. The instant you claim it with unwavering faith, the doors swing wide. You are not begging for treasure, you are remembering it is yours. The subconscious, that faithful servant, obeys the picture impressed upon it. If you paint images of limitation, it will deliver lack. But the moment you hold fast to the picture of riches, radiant and secure, it hastens to bring it forth. Every word is a seed, every declaration bears fruit. Say, I am rich in mind, body, and affairs, and see how swiftly the outer world reflects the inner decree. There is no power in poverty except the power you grant it. Fear of loss, fear of delay, fear of never having enough. These shadows melt when the light of truth is spoken. You need not wait a lifetime. You need not labor under burdens, for riches belong to the one who dares to stand fearless in faith. The universe loves speed. It loves a heart that is quick to believe. The supply does not trickle, it bursts forth the instant you align with its flow. Picture it clearly. Wealth arriving at your doorstep, unexpected channels opening, opportunities cascading without effort. This is not a dream to be postponed. It is the instant reality when you match your thought to the law of abundance. Nothing can withhold what belongs to you, for your riches are part of the divine plan. The treasures of heaven pour down, like rain the moment you call them forth. When the mind is filled with gratitude, with expectation, with unwavering assurance, the riches come as surely as day follows night. Do not look at appearances, for appearances deceive. Instead, hold your vision steady, declare your prosperity, and know it is instant. What you seek is seeking you with equal speed. Wealth is not a far-off shore, it is the ground beneath your feet. And the moment you awaken to this truth, the gold appears, the channels open, the riches rush in. Wealth is instant when thought aligns with divine law. To many, this statement may appear mystical, even improbable. For they have been trained from childhood to believe that riches must be earned only through years of labor, through effort, through calculation, through sacrifice. Yet the law of the Spirit does not operate on the same timetable as the law of man. Divine law recognizes no delay, no waiting, no postponement. The moment a thought of abundance is spoken with certainty, the instant it is clothed in faith, it is already accomplished. What seems to be the slow unfolding of riches is but the appearance, the outward picture. In truth, the inner reality of wealth is immediate. And as soon as the individual allows his thought to rise into harmony with that truth, the substance appears. The key lies not in outer striving, but in the alignment of the inner vision. Thought is the builder of the world you experience, and thought charged with faith is the most powerful force you can wield. When the mind declares lack, the world echoes back lack, for the subconscious only knows to obey. When the mind declares wealth, believing without doubt that riches are already present, then wealth rushes in, sometimes through expected channels, sometimes through strange and surprising ones, but always in perfect timing. This is not magic. Though it may feel miraculous, it is law. Just as the law of gravity acts without fail, the law of supply responds without hesitation. The instant thought aligns with it, the results are set in motion. Consider how swiftly thought operates. In a moment, one can imagine standing in a palace, holding treasures, feeling clothed in beauty and abundance. That image is created in less than a heartbeat, and the subconscious registers it at once. Now, if that picture is maintained, if it is impressed deeply, the outer world must adjust itself to reflect it. The richness of life, the opportunities, the prosperity that you have seen in the inner world come pressing into form in the outer. Many delay their good only because they doubt, and doubt is simply thought misaligned. Doubt says, "It will take time, it may never happen, I am not worthy," while faith says, "It is already done, and I claim it now." The difference between waiting a lifetime and receiving in an instant is nothing more than the vibration of thought. When thought aligns with divine law, the individual steps out of limitation and enters the flow of endless supply. Divine law is abundance itself, ever giving, never withholding. It does not measure, it does not ration. It pours forth ceaselessly, awaiting only the open channel of the receptive mind. The moment you open the channel by aligning your thought, by speaking the word of wealth, the riches flow. You may have noticed how, in times of certainty, money seems to appear easily, while in times of fear, everything seems to be withheld. This is not chance. This is the exact outworking of law. Wealth is not a matter of circumstances but of consciousness. Think of the seed planted in the earth. Within it lies the full pattern of the harvest. The instant it is placed in the soil, the process of growth begins. Though the eye may not yet see the sprout, the seed has already responded, the invisible work has already been set in motion. So it is with wealth. The moment you plant the thought of riches in the fertile soil of divine law, the process begins instantly. The harvest is inevitable, though appearances may suggest delay. If you trust the law, you know it is already complete. The only work is to maintain the alignment of thought, to keep the picture clear, to water it with words of affirmation, and to shield it from the weeds of fear. Wealth is instant, but humans often bind themselves to time. They believe they must wait, strive, prove, or labor endlessly. Yet divine law knows no time. It is eternal present. What you claim in thought is already yours in the unseen. To align with this truth is to collapse the illusion of waiting. You step into the eternal now, where wealth exists as fully and abundantly as the air you breathe. Air does not trickle toward you slowly. It rushes to fill every space. Riches, too, are the same substance. The instant your thought aligns, you are filled with the breath of prosperity. It is not effort that unlocks riches but receptivity. The mind that is anxious, that strives and strains, is like a clenched fist. It cannot receive. But the mind that rests in divine law, that says, "I know my wealth is instant, I know my supply is here and now," is like an open hand. Into that open hand, riches flow freely. Aligning thought with divine law is therefore not a struggle but a release. Not an effort but a surrender to the truth that abundance is natural. Poverty is unnatural, a false belief, a shadow created by fear. When thought is aligned with truth, the shadow dissolves instantly, and the substance of wealth stands revealed. One may say, "But I see no evidence of wealth around me." Yet appearances are deceptive. The field may seem barren before the harvest, but the harvest is already determined in the seed. What you do not yet see with the eye is already real in the unseen. To align thought with divine law is to hold fast to that unseen reality, to declare it more real than appearances, to live from it even before it has stepped into form. The moment you do, the process is instant. The riches begin their swift approach, and often they arrive through avenues you never imagined. The law is infinite in its methods. Those who wait for wealth often wait endlessly because they are looking outward rather than inward. They seek in opportunity, in circumstance, in effort. Yet wealth is not found there. It is found in the alignment of thought with the eternal law of supply. The moment thought declares the truth, the outer world reorganizes itself to bring it forth. It may appear as new work, as a sudden gift, as an unexpected channel, or as the release of something long delayed. But no matter the channel, the law remains instant. It is not the world that delays. It is thought misaligned that creates the illusion of delay. Wealth is instant when thought aligns with divine law, because there is no separation between the inner and outer worlds. The outer is but the mirror of the inner. Align the inner with truth, and the mirror reflects it without hesitation. The riches you seek are already around you, awaiting only your recognition. They are like treasures buried just beneath the surface, invisible until you say, "I know they are here, and I claim them now." The act of alignment uncovers them at once. Words spoken with faith unlock immediate supply. Every syllable uttered carries a vibration, and that vibration sets in motion the unseen forces that shape the visible world. Words are not mere sounds, they are commands to the subconscious, blueprints of reality, decrees that the universe rushes to fulfill. When words are spoken in fear and doubt, in complaint, they summon limitation and lack. When words are spoken with faith, unwavering and certain, they summon abundance with a swiftness that seems miraculous. The supply you seek is already prepared, already complete, and it stands at the threshold waiting for the key. That key is the word spoken in faith. The mind may imagine that riches are slow to arrive, that they require long seasons of toil. But the moment the word of prosperity is declared with conviction, the doors of supply swing wide. Words are seeds, and every seed contains within it the pattern of its harvest. Speak the word, wealth, and wealth begins its swift journey to you. Speak the word, success, and success races to meet you. The power lies not in the word alone, but in the faith that infuses it. A word spoken half-heartedly, with doubt clinging to it, drifts without force. But a word spoken with faith burns through resistance, pierces appearances, and calls forth substance instantly. Faith is the life in the word. It is the assurance that what you say is already so. Without faith, the word is an empty shell. With faith, the word is a living force. Consider how in moments of certainty you have spoken, "I know this will happen," and it came to pass almost immediately. This is the operation of law. The spoken word, clothed in the garment of faith, is irresistible. Nothing can stand against it, because it is aligned with the higher law of abundance that governs all creation. There is no limit to what words can summon when spoken with faith. The subconscious, ever obedient, takes the words you give it and translates them into experience. It does not argue, it does not delay, it does not reason. It obeys. If you say, "Money flows to me now in perfect ways," with complete conviction, the subconscious accepts it as truth and begins at once to bring it into visible form. Supply may arrive through unexpected checks, gifts, opportunities, or the sudden dissolving of obstacles, but arrive it must. For once the word has been spoken in faith, the law is set in motion, and nothing can halt it. Words are bridges between the unseen and the seen. They carry ideas from the realm of spirit into the world of matter. The universe listens attentively, ever ready to respond. Speak words of lack, and you cross the bridge into want. Speak words of wealth, and you cross the bridge into plenty. Faith determines the strength of the bridge. Weak words collapse under doubt. Strong words, filled with conviction, carry the full weight of your desire into manifestation. The bridge holds firm because it rests on the eternal foundation of divine law. It is not effort that brings supply swiftly, but the word charged with faith. Many strive with action, believing they must push and pull to obtain. Yet without the word spoken in faith, their labor is empty, slow, and burdened. Another, who speaks the word with certainty, finds the same supply rushing to him with ease. The difference lies not in fortune but in the law. Words spoken with faith carry the authority of spirit itself, and spirit does not delay. The supply appears in the outer world as soon as the inner command is given. Think of a command given to a faithful servant. The instant the command is spoken, the servant begins to act. So it is with the subconscious and the universe. They are ever listening, ever ready to respond. If you say, "I never have enough," they obey at once, arranging conditions to match your decree. If you say, "I am richly supplied now," and you speak it with faith, they obey equally, arranging circumstances to deliver your good. The law is impartial. It does not choose what to give you. It gives according to your words, and your words carry power only when they are spoken with faith. Faith is not a vague hope, nor a timid wish. It is a knowing, an inner certainty that what you say is truth. When you declare wealth with faith, you do not look around to see whether appearances confirm it. You know it already exists in the unseen. and that knowledge infuses your words with creative force. Appearances may whisper otherwise, but faith does not waver. Faith speaks as though the thing were already done, because in truth it is. The moment the word is spoken, the supply is released. To cultivate this power, guard your words carefully. Do not speak idly of lack, of poverty, of fear. Every word is a command, and careless words summon conditions you do not desire. Speak always from the place of faith, declaring what you wish as though it were already here. Say, "Wealth surrounds me now, prosperity flows to me in perfect ways." And say it with conviction. Feel the truth of it as you speak. The subconscious cannot resist such a declaration. It is compelled to manifest it, and the universe moves swiftly to bring the evidence. There are those who have found that even a single word, spoken with burning faith, has overturned years of limitation. One word of truth, charged with certainty, can sweep away mountains of doubt. It is not the length of speech that matters, but the power within it. A single phrase, uttered with complete belief, can change a life instantly. The supply that seems far away comes rushing near, for the word has unlocked it. Words spoken with faith are like keys turning in a lock. The treasures of the universe are behind the door, already waiting. Faith turns the key, and the door swings wide without resistance. The supply does not trickle or delay. It pours forth the moment the lock is opened. The door was never barred except by unbelief. Words of doubt jam the key, keeping the door closed. Words of faith turn it smoothly, effortlessly, and the riches flow in abundance. The practice is simple yet profound. To align with supply, you must align your words. To align your words, you must align your faith. Speak only what you wish to see, and speak it with the authority of one who knows the universe obeys. Do not beg, do not plead, do not wonder. Declare with assurance, and the law responds. This is why words spoken with faith unlock immediate supply. The supply is not created by your words, it already exists in infinite measure. Your words simply release it, direct it, and allow it to pour into your experience. The subconscious manifests the images impressed upon it. The inner mind, silent and tireless, holds within it the creative workshop where every experience of life is first shaped. It does not reason, it does not debate. It does not question whether what you impress upon it is desirable or destructive. It simply takes the picture you provide and begins its faithful work of reproduction. Just as soil does not choose which seeds it will bring forth, but yields whatever is planted, the subconscious accepts every image as law. When you understand this truth, you see that life is not the result of chance, but of pictures carefully or carelessly impressed upon the inner mind. Every thought, every word, every image you hold with feeling etches itself upon the subconscious. The outer world is nothing more than a mirror reflecting those impressions. If fear is painted there, fear appears in experience. If wealth is painted there, wealth manifests in affairs. The subconscious is the hidden power that never sleeps, that labors without rest, that builds tirelessly day and night, weaving conditions to match the pictures given to it. To master your life, you must master the images you impress. Impressions are not made by fleeting thoughts, but by thoughts charged with emotion, by words spoken with conviction, by visions repeated until they sink deeply into the fertile soil of the subconscious. A casual thought may pass without effect, but a thought wrapped in strong feeling leaves a mark that cannot be erased easily. This is why worry is so destructive. It is not idle thought but thought charged with fear, repeated again and again, until the subconscious accepts it as truth and shapes conditions of lack, loss, or difficulty. Likewise, this is why affirmations spoken with faith are powerful. They impress the picture of abundance upon the inner mind until it becomes the only truth it knows, and then the outer world shifts to match. The subconscious does not recognize time. It does not say, "This image is for the future." It acts in the eternal now, arranging circumstances with immediacy. This explains why sudden breakthroughs can occur when one finally impresses a clear, unwavering picture. It also explains why repeated fear produces repeated setbacks. The subconscious is impartial. It is a faithful servant. It brings forth in your life not what you desire vaguely, but what you image clearly and accept as real. When a person continually pictures struggle, the subconscious accepts struggle as their portion and reproduces it. Yet when a person holds the steady image of ease and abundance, refusing to let appearances of lack erase it, the subconscious begins its invisible work. It draws opportunities, opens channels, and inspires actions that align with the vision. What seems miraculous to the outside observer is simply the law of impression and expression at work. The subconscious manifests what is impressed upon it, whether that impression was made deliberately or unconsciously. To work with this power, one must first take charge of the images allowed to rest in the mind. Idle daydreams of failure, anxious rehearsals of disaster, constant talk of limitation. All these are seeds of the harvest one does not wish to reap. They slip quietly into the subconscious and begin their work of creation. To reverse them, one must replace them with deliberate images of the desired good. If wealth is sought, the image of wealth must be painted vividly. Seeing oneself in possession of abundance, feeling the security of it, speaking words that affirm it. The more real the picture becomes in the inner world, the sooner it steps into the outer. The subconscious is impressed most strongly by repetition and emotion. A single affirmation, spoken once without feeling, may pass without leaving a mark, but an affirmation repeated daily, with faith and joy, etches itself deep. Visualization, too, when practiced with feeling, impresses powerfully. To see oneself in possession of the good desired, to feel the emotions that would accompany it, to dwell on that vision until it becomes more real than appearances. This is the method by which the subconscious is directed. Once impressed, it cannot fail to manifest, for the law of expression follows inevitably after the law of impression. Every invention, every work of art, every fortune, every success has followed this pattern. The image is first created within, then brought forth without. The sculptor sees the figure in the block of marble before the chisel strikes. The architect holds the vision of the building before a single stone is laid. The wealthy man or woman imagines abundance before it appears in their account. The subconscious, once given the image, draws to it the material, the opportunity, the people, and the circumstances necessary. It works through channels unseen and sometimes mysterious, but always effective. Even those who do not understand the law are subject to it. Their lives reflect the images impressed unconsciously through worry, fear, resentment, or doubt. They may say, "I never wanted this." Yet their inner pictures tell another story. The subconscious did not ask what they wanted. It only manifested what they continually imaged. This is why awareness is essential. To live unconsciously is to sow carelessly. To live consciously is to sow deliberately, knowing that every inner picture will one day stand before you in form. The subconscious is not swayed by arguments of reason, but by the persistence of images. You may reason, "I should not be poor." Yet if you continually picture yourself as poor, the subconscious accepts poverty as reality. You may argue, "I deserve wealth." Yet if you secretly imagine lack, the subconscious produces lack. It is not logic but vision that impresses it. This is why affirmations must be felt as true, why visualizations must be lived inwardly as though real. The subconscious does not distinguish between actual and imagined experience, it treats both alike. Impress upon it the imagined as though it were fact, and it sets to work producing it in fact. The process is as sure as the rising of the sun. Impression precedes expression. The inner always shapes the outer. The subconscious is the silent craftsman behind the scenes, and the images you hand it are the blueprints. Hand it images of lack and it builds lack. Hand it images of plenty and it builds plenty. It never ceases, it never questions, it never fails. It is the faithful builder of your world, and it manifests the images impressed upon it with perfect precision. Fear and delay dissolve under unwavering assurance. Fear is the great robber of life, the shadow that blinds the eyes to abundance already prepared. Delay is its companion, convincing the mind that good must wait, that supply is far off, that wealth will come someday if at all. Yet both fear and delay vanish, when the soul stands firm in assurance, when it knows beyond question that what is claimed in truth is already fulfilled. Assurance is the light that scatters the darkness of fear, the fire that melts the ice of delay, the certainty that calls abundance into instant appearance. Fear whispers of loss, of lack, of failure. It paints pictures of closed doors and barren fields. The subconscious, if not guarded, accepts these pictures and begins to reproduce them, creating conditions that seem to justify the fear. But fear has no power of its own. It lives only where faith is absent. The moment assurance takes its place, fear dissolves like mist before the sun. Assurance declares, I cannot lose, for my good is secure, I cannot lack, for supply is infinite. I cannot fail, for success is written into divine law. These words, spoken with conviction, leave no room for fear. The subconscious accepts them and sets in motion the swift outworking of prosperity. Delay, too, is but an illusion born of doubt. The mind says, perhaps later, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps next year. And so the subconscious obeys, arranging conditions that keep wealth always just out of reach. Assurance does not postpone. Assurance says, now is the appointed time, this instant my good appears. In that certainty, the law responds with speed. The universe loves decisiveness, for it mirrors the eternal present where divine law operates. Delay cannot survive when assurance speaks in the language of now. To live in unwavering assurance is to live in mastery. It is to refuse the pictures fear presents, and to replace them with pictures of fulfillment. It is to look at appearances that seem empty and declare, behind this appearance my abundance already waits. Assurance is not arrogance, nor is it wishful thinking. It is the calm knowledge that the law of supply cannot fail, and that once the word has been spoken, the result is inevitable. Just as one who plants a seed does not fear that the harvest will not come, but rests in the assurance that the seed will bear after its kind, so does the one who lives in faith rest secure, knowing that abundance must appear. Fear thrives on uncertainty, on hesitation, on double-mindedness. When the mind wavers between belief and doubt, the door is left open for fear to enter. Assurance closes the door. Assurance is single-eyed, unwavering, fixed. It sees only the good desired and refuses to consider anything else. In this fixed gaze, fear has no foothold. In this steady stance, delay has no place. The subconscious receives the clear impression of certainty, and conditions quickly adjust to reflect it. Consider how quickly life changes when assurance is established. One may struggle for years in fear, waiting, postponing, doubting. Yet in the moment of true assurance, when the heart says, it is done, events shift almost instantly. Opportunities appear where none were before. Channels open, obstacles dissolve. This is not accident but the precise operation of law. The law responds not to fear, not to indecision, but to assurance. The stronger the assurance, the swifter the response. Fear often disguises itself as caution, as reason, as practicality. It whispers, be careful, do not expect too much, prepare for disappointment. Yet beneath these masks lies the same paralysis, the same resistance to faith. Assurance, on the other hand, may appear reckless to the fearful, but in truth it is alignment with reality. Reality is abundance, for the universe is infinite supply. To expect less is to believe in an illusion of lack. Assurance aligns the mind with truth, and truth always dissolves illusion. Delay feeds upon the habit of postponement. Many say, I will prosper when conditions change, when opportunities come, when circumstances improve. In saying so, they push their good into the future, and the subconscious obliges by keeping it there. Assurance says, my conditions change because I change my thought. My opportunities come because I call them forth. My circumstances improve because I align with abundance now. By removing the idea of waiting, assurance removes the very root of delay. The practice of assurance begins with thought, but must be carried into word and action. Speak words of certainty. My supply is here, my wealth flows now, my success is secure. Speak them without wavering, without entertaining the shadow of contradiction. Let every word carry the ring of assurance, and the subconscious will record them as law. Then act as though they are already true, for assurance does not wait for proof before it believes. Assurance acts from the invisible reality, and the visible must follow. The body itself responds to assurance. Fear weakens, drains, and scatters energy. Assurance strengthens, steadies, and focuses it. When assurance fills the mind, the body moves with confidence, decisions are made with clarity, and steps are taken with boldness. These outward actions become channels through which abundance flows. Fear closes channels, delay blocks movement, but assurance opens every pathway. Examples abound of those who shifted their lives by moving from fear to assurance. A person may have lived in scarcity, always dreading bills, always fearing loss, always waiting for better days. Yet the moment they affirmed with unwavering certainty, "I am divinely supplied and richly prospered now," and truly felt it as real, conditions began to rearrange. Money flowed from unexpected sources. Opportunities arose without effort, and the long years of delay dissolved in an instant. The change was not in the outer world first, but in the inner stance of assurance. The subconscious, ever faithful, reflects whatever is impressed upon it. When fear is impressed, it reflects conditions that justify fear. When assurance is impressed, it reflects conditions that justify assurance. The outer world simply mirrors the inner certainty or the inner hesitation. This is why unwavering assurance is so powerful. It leaves no gap for fear to creep in, no space for delay to settle. It creates a clear and definite picture, and the subconscious rushes to fulfill it. To cultivate assurance, one must practice persistence. Fear will attempt to return with its shadows, whispering of danger and lack. Delay will attempt to creep back with suggestions of waiting. But each time, assurance must answer firmly. "I know my good is secure now." Each repetition strengthens the impression, until the subconscious accepts assurance as the only reality. Once this happens, fear and delay have no hold. The law moves freely, supply flows swiftly, and the abundance that was always present stands revealed. Gratitude and expectation call riches forth swiftly. Gratitude is the recognition that abundance already exists, that the good desired is not distant but present, that every breath, every moment, every provision is evidence of infinite supply. Expectation is the confident anticipation of greater good, the poised assurance that more is continually arriving, that life cannot withhold, that wealth is always on its way. Together, gratitude and expectation form a magnetic force that draws prosperity instantly. Gratitude acknowledges the riches at hand, expectation opens the door for richer blessings yet unseen. When both are cultivated, the flow of supply becomes immediate and ceaseless. Gratitude is not merely polite thanks spoken in passing. It is a vibration of the soul, a recognition of the divine order where nothing is lacking. To give thanks is to affirm possession. When you say, "I am grateful," you declare that you already hold the good in your hand, and by that declaration the subconscious is impressed with the image of wealth. It accepts gratitude as fact and proceeds to mirror it in the outer world. The one who practices gratitude lives as though riches are already theirs, and the law must confirm their vision. Expectation adds the element of forward motion. Gratitude anchors you in present abundance. Expectation carries you into future abundance. Expectation says, "I know that more is coming, and I am ready for it." The subconscious responds to expectation by preparing channels, arranging circumstances, aligning opportunities. Just as a guest arrives more surely when the house is prepared and the door left open, so does supply arrive when the heart waits with expectation. To expect wealth is to create the space for it, to clear the path, to signal readiness. Without expectation, even the greatest abundance may pass unnoticed, for the mind is not prepared to receive. When gratitude and expectation are combined, they form a perfect circuit of prosperity. Gratitude says, "I have," and expectation says, "I will continue to have." Gratitude fixes the mind in the truth of abundance now, and expectation keeps the flow unbroken. Together they dissolve fear, silence doubt, and sweep away delay. The subconscious, receiving these impressions, is filled with images of riches both present and to come, and so it produces them without resistance. This is why those who live in gratitude and expectation seem to draw good things effortlessly. The law is working swiftly through their inner state. Gratitude has the power to transform even appearances of lack. When faced with little, the grateful heart says, "I thank you for the supply that is here, and I know it multiplies." That act of recognition shifts the image in the subconscious from insufficiency to sufficiency, from want to wealth. The law responds by increasing supply, often in ways that surprise and delight. Expectation then carries the increase further, declaring, "This is only the beginning. Greater good is on its way." In this atmosphere, riches cannot help but appear. For the mind is aligned with the truth of endless abundance. Consider how the ungrateful and doubtful live. They focus on what is missing, on what has not yet arrived, on the gaps rather than the gifts. Their words are filled with complaint, their thoughts with scarcity. The subconscious accepts these impressions and reproduces more lack, more gaps, more scarcity. Life seems to confirm their complaints, not because the universe is hostile, but because it is obedient. Gratitude and expectation reverse this cycle entirely. They impress images of plenty, and the subconscious rushes to reproduce plenty. The outer world begins to match the inner song of thanksgiving and anticipation. Gratitude lifts the vibration of thought. When you give thanks, you cannot dwell on fear. Gratitude turns the eyes toward what is present, what is working, what is already supplied. It fills the heart with lightness, and that lightness becomes a magnet. Expectation sustains the vibration. It keeps the channel open, refusing to allow stagnation or doubt. It carries the energy forward, ensuring that supply never ceases. Just as a river flows because it is both received and released, so does abundance flow where gratitude receives and expectation releases. The more one practices these two, the faster the current becomes. The practice of gratitude can be as simple as speaking thanks for the smallest provision, for every meal, for every opportunity, for every breath. Each act of gratitude reinforces the image of abundance. The subconscious hears, "I have enough, I am supplied, I am blessed," and it takes this as fact, building experiences that match. The practice of expectation can be as simple as speaking confidently of future good, saying, "Wonderful things are on their way. Wealth is coming swiftly, opportunities are opening." Each declaration impresses the subconscious with the certainty of increase, and so the law hastens to provide it. There are countless testimonies of those who transformed their lives by these two practices. One who lived in lack began to give thanks daily for what little they had, praising it as though it were plenty, and soon more began to appear. As they coupled this with expectation, declaring, "More is on the way, greater riches are coming," their supply multiplied rapidly. Another who had struggled for years in doubt shifted to gratitude for every small success and expectation of larger ones. And within a short time doors opened that had been closed for decades. What seems miraculous is simply the outworking of law responding to clear impressions. Gratitude is the affirmation of the present, expectation the assurance of the future. Together they cover the whole of life. Gratitude roots you firmly in the wealth you already possess, preventing fear of loss. Expectation lifts you toward the wealth yet to come, preventing stagnation. Both dissolve the illusion of limitation, leaving only the truth of abundance. The subconscious, filled with images of present and future supply, cannot fail to reproduce them. Thus riches are called forth swiftly, not after long waiting, but in the instant the inner state is aligned. Even the body and spirit respond to gratitude and expectation. Gratitude fills the body with health, for it directs attention to vitality rather than weakness. Expectation fills the spirit with energy, for it directs attention to possibility rather than defeat. Together they create a radiant atmosphere, and in such an atmosphere opportunities, wealth, and success are naturally attracted. Just as flowers turn toward sunlight, so does abundance turn toward the grateful and expectant heart. To live in gratitude and expectation is to live in a constant stream of supply. The mind no longer clings to fear of not enough, nor to the doubt of delay. It is continually saying, "Thank you for what is. Thank you for what is coming." It is continually seeing wealth in hand and wealth on the way. This steady practice impresses the subconscious so deeply that it becomes automatic, and the outer life becomes a continuous unfolding of prosperity.